Morning, everybody. And it is great to have the Feb Challenge coaches on. Actually, you guys were on last week. And we have a new addition, Jag. Very warm welcome. Jag, you were coaching last. I was looking at our database June last year.
June, I think. June, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a while, and so glad to have you back on. Simran, I am loving seeing your posts, your activity. I was so excited with your update last week. Oh, we have Emma. Emma, good morning. Here you are. All right. Pri and Jesse listening in, a very warm welcome to you. Tom, so fantastic to see you guys. We're going to kick off with our gratitude fire round. So, Jag, that is the new addition, as you may recall from last month's team call. But we kick off every coach's call with a gratitude round. Literally 10 seconds. What are you grateful for this morning? And I'm going to kick us off. I am grateful for having family. Last night we went to our niece's 14th birthday and just laughed. And it was so healthy. It was just brilliant. So laughter, great way to end the night. I'm actually going to throw in another one. Tom, thank you for sending through the 3-2-1, because it was just such a proactive reminder to eat certain time, avoid screen time, and then work I wasn't doing anyways 2 hours prior to sleeping. So thank you for sending that through. Alrighty, who's next? Unmute yourselves and go for it.
It's Claire.
I'll go next.
No,
Go on, Claire.
Yeah, I'm also grateful for family. I've just had some great time with my own family, my partner's family, my own kids yesterday. I took them swimming because there was no school. Went to this amazing swimming place near Bracknell, and we just laughed and played, and we stayed for about 5 hours. It was so good. And I saw my friend and her new baby. So yeah, I'm just grateful for family, friends, the structure of the program, because I feel like just by slightly tweaking my diet, I just feel like I've got so much more energy in 1 week. So yeah, I can see the things that was slipping in and that I was doing, just getting rid of those. I just feel so much more energized.
Brilliant.
So yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Claire. Tom?
I'm grateful for personal development. That's just come up for me. I think it's just grateful for being able to grow in life, and I'm noticing how much better I'm dealing with things when things go wrong around business or just in life in general. I was a bit disempowered this morning and yesterday somewhat, but I just noticed myself catching it so much better. So then I was like, okay, what am I grateful for in that? Well, I think it is, yeah, growth, development, being around people like you guys and others in my community who are having me be able to deal with things much better than I would have in the past. In the past, maybe I wouldn't have come on this call if I was disempowered around something. Whereas now I'm like, okay, I can park that, be on the call, be empowered, and just deal with it a lot quicker. So yeah, that's what I'm grateful for today.
Thanks, Tom. We're going to come back to you after the gratitude round. Jag, go for it.
Hey, yeah, so what am I grateful for? I'm really grateful to be back on the challenge. I'm really grateful to be around the community that's always helping me grow and develop. Really grateful for my family. And just, yeah, there's always someone looking out for me, and I'm really, really grateful for that. There's always someone who's catching me when I'm maybe going somewhere and I don't realize I'm doing that. This week I've had so many, I call them angels, if you like, who've just been popping up like, can you see you're doing that like right now? I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize. And like people are getting really familiar with if I'm not catching myself like going into a space of, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, and I stop being in action about something. Like it's almost like people like just get me back on track. So I've had so many people do that this week in my business, in personal development, with relationships. So it's just been a really great week for growth. And I'm going on the communication course this week, today, the second one. So I'm excited about that too. So grateful for growth, development everywhere.
Thank you, Jag.
Okay, what am I grateful for this morning? I'm grateful for the first night in our new home. I am grateful for the determination and strength of Thomas moving a whole house. I am grateful for my 2 boys and the new memories and opportunities that will come now we've moved house.
Thanks, Emma, and congratulations on that, on the new house move. Simran.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I am grateful for, no, I want to first start by wishing Kanea a happy belated birthday. And and I am grateful for mothers in the world. I don't even know what they provide. Like, I have no clue, because I am not right now one, but I am so moved by what is available, because you all are on this world. So much of love, and yeah. So that, and I am grateful for the community and people around me. That's what. So.
Oh, thanks, Simran. That moved me. All right. So here's to everybody. And there's a mother in every single one of us, including dads, like Tom, dialing in, because everybody's bringing humanity and parenting to a whole different league. And I find that before we go into generating the objective, it's so great you generate that, because Ronak and I were talking about this pregnancy last night. And for a soul to choose human beings as its earth guardians, by no means do we have any ownership over these beings that we bring up. And yet what we're accountable for is for instilling the values that those human beings go on to fulfill on their purpose. And what I want to create for you guys before we get onto the objectives is consider, as coaches, that is the accountability you take on, where, you know, certain labels like parents for non-parents become a disconnect, right? Whereas if you really relate to yourself as that earth guardian who is here to enable another to see their full potential, standing in there, then the role and accountability as a coach becomes a whole different dimension. And you then get to really bring your whole self to the conversation. And somebody created for me that the world they're taking on, building, is a world where everybody gets to love each other the way a mother loves a child. And shortly after that, I read that there is no difference between the love of a mother and child or spouses, except that we are just disconnected from love as the eternal source. And so really, coaches, as you guys go on to right now, generate the objective and then get for yourself who you are, for the participants you currently have been assigned, the people in your lives. What does being that eternal source of empowerment, love, contribution, such that you yourself are growing in that space, look like? So on that note, I'm going to share my screen. And have one of you unmute yourselves and share away, please.
I'll generate.
Go for it.
Before Tom beats me.
I was about to say
it. So, the Inspiring Life series. Welcome to life. Objective. Through being a FITBANKER coach, I will be someone who upholds my own relationship to food, exercise, and myself, understands the real role of my body, mind, and intellect, leverages social media to inspire my community and my world to live to live a healthy lifestyle to transform lives, is a health leader and a go-to person in my community. Social media is now filled with positive, healthy, and inspiring content. The world and the lives around me are now inspired and choose to start living life.
So Simran, as you have now officially commenced the challenge that you're coaching on, where do you see this providing you as a guiding star, as a compass for the week to come ahead, with participants being assigned? What resonates most with you, and where do you see you'll be able to grow and fulfill on with this as your guiding star, this manifesto, if you like?
I don't think there is any one that I can pick. It's for me to really grow in all of them. Like I really see the gap between. I mean, yeah, this is giving me what's so, and what I can see is that I have a huge commitment, but I I back out in actions, and whatever goes on with my inside of my head. So this is like, uh, I can't say that, oh, I am like a masterful in this one and I'm gonna work on the next three or the next two. I for me it is to really grow in all these, so that I can fulfill on what it what this is all about. Like, you know just like how it says, the objective of to actually fulfill all of this in someone else's life, I'll have to like really grow myself in all of these. So that's what.
And how do you intend on keeping this present for yourself between the calls, between the weekly coaches calls? Because the human identity and the human way typically is, once we're out of that empowering environment and stumble into life as is, there's many things that will keep reinforcing evidence for us around how we are or how we are not. And so it's vital that when we are set on a path with bigger causes, that we have the reminders, we have the accountabilities, we have some form of visibility into what it is we're playing for. Otherwise, conversations, the minute it's out of your mouth, it's gone, right? It's not like a chair, it's not an object, you're not on it, the chair is not there every single moment. Words said get done. So how do you intend on having this be so present for you with participants, such that you're conscious, this is what I'm growing on and fulfilling on? And this is not a what's the right answer here. This is an exploration of really how can we up our game and get so connected to what it is we stand for, such that I'm fully creating a structure for success, knowing how familiar the human identity is and taking us back into our cages. What
So
could
I'm
you
also
do?
just right now just exploring, like, what can I actually do to have this be alive, between the calls, uh, and what uh, I discovered would be, I mean, I don't know if this is going to work, but what I can see is right now that, if I don't know if this is already existing on our coaches group, but I could like create this with someone, like, and then declare where I'm going to stand today, and what is it that I'm going to cause, and then I can, yeah, and then I can just see if that is where I've been or not.
That's awesome. And it doesn't currently exist on the coaches group, and it's something you can certainly lead on. And I think that's a powerful way. I love that. Another thing that I want to encourage all the coaches to take on as a practice, which got inspired by Tom a few calls ago. But if you have your coaches' calls in your diaries, on your phones, as half an hour slot, I'm speaking to X. Before that half an hour, put in another calendar reminder in your diary 5 minutes prior to that call, which is, prep for the call. And part of the prep for that call is reading your objectives as a coach, where you then get present to why it is you're getting on the call in the first place, and who it is you're going to channel in order to be the conduit that's going to make a difference to this other person. Because that then gives you the space, mental, physical, and spiritual, to put everything you're dealing with aside and really step into this other person's world 100% committed to making a difference to them, beyond being attached to any particular outcome coming from there. Does that make sense, guys? So 5 minutes reminders in everybody's diary, like intentional time dedicated ahead of that specific participant call. And Simran, I love the daily accountability or sharing where you're standing from. That's brilliant. All right. Now I want to move on to Tom first because you talked about it, but I'd like to spend the next 7 minutes or so looking at existing January coaches. Where are you confronted, stopped, or stuck in life, maybe with participants or just generally in your life? And Pri and Jesse, as you're hearing this, when you guys do listen to the recording, I love the updates you guys share. You take on the exercises and share, which is brilliant. Please do kick off your shares and exercises from the coach's call that you do share with us with the gratitude, what it is you're grateful for. And also, what do you get present to when you see the FITBANKER coaches' objectives and what it is you're out to fulfill on? I think that's something that I haven't heard from both of you, but that's definitely where I want you guys to start grounding yourself if you're not already, and if you are, then that's great. Share what's there for you when you take that on. Tom, you've unmuted, so go for it, please.
Yeah, so sorry, I didn't get everything you just said because I was thinking about what I was about to say.
Where in
I hope I'm
life,
answering what you're...
where in life are you currently stopped, stuck, confronted?
Yeah.
Either
Yep.
to do with participants or just generally in Tom's world.
Perfect. Thanks for asking. Yeah, because I think it's the first time in the program where I have hit a little bit of a stuck point, so it's good to talk this through. So this week, for the first time since the program started, none of my participants made the coaching call, and previously everyone made every week. So that was quite a big shift in 1 week. 2 of them let me know last minute, and 1 didn't. They had a breakdown. So yeah, I don't quite see what was missing for that to happen. It could just be coincidence that things came up in this particular week. I straight away, when that happens, look at myself and I'm like, okay, what clearing am I at for these 3 people not to turn up on the call? In many ways, I've had a good week actually from a 747 perspective. And what I am seeing is that I am stepping over things with myself and not saying anything about them, i.e. I keep slipping into not getting things done that I say I do or that I'm expected to do as a coach, mainly around the assignments and that work. So I can see that's there in my space, in my clearing, and I have cleared that up with participants already on my calls, but it's happened again. So I'm seeing it'd be good to clear that up again, just to get that out of the space. So yeah, so that kind of made me go, oh, okay, that's what's going on there, without just being careful not to make it mean too much. The other thing was just in my business, we're 2 months in and I had certain goals for my business and I haven't achieved those goals in the first 2 months of the year. And I was just reflecting on that because it's end of Feb and kind of saying, what am I doing? And I feel like I'm doing a lot and I'm working and I'm more productive than I ever have been. And the balance in life is better, especially with all the FITBANKER stuff I've brought into my life over the last 4 or 5 months. And I'm not getting the results that I've given my word to. So, and that's what I was referring to about the disempowerment and just catching myself and saying, okay, something's happening there. That doesn't have to impact me being on this call or me going to exercise this morning or whatever else. And to have a look at it and see what's there that I can transform. Yeah. So that's kind of, as you can probably hear, where I'm stopped at the moment. In terms of my own results on the program, I'm happy with the results, and I know that they can also be better. And there's a little bit of sometimes just I've got to a point where I'm kind of happy with my health, so I don't have to really go for it. It's the gap you talked about last week. The gap isn't as big anymore, so I'm like, okay, I'm cool with it, but I also want to keep improving. And almost maybe there's a lack of a stronger purpose to really have me go for it in the way I did in my first program. Something around that. It's kind of got a bit kind of comfortable and just plateauing. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. So 2 different conversations, but the first one is when the third and final participant canceled their call, right? And I know you've already said I was cautious not to make that mean too much. But are you making yourself wrong as the source of that, all three showing up in any shape or form?
A little bit, because it's all three.
Okay,
You
and
know.
I hear that in your voice.
Yeah.
And then the next is with your business, right? Your business is where your business is, and this is critical with everybody else, right? Listening in on this. And when we look at the challenge, and Claire, I loved what you shared about your concerns because it's so relevant to every single person, which is I've kind of got my health sorted. I don't, you know, I I don't have anywhere to grow. And when we look at who you guys are as as FitBanker coaches, on all five pillars, right? Then Tom, the muscle for you to build now is on the mental well-being, right? So when we're disempowered in one area of our life, we have it that life occurs as segments, as categories, right? Like I'm doing good in health, not so great in business. And there is some perception we create, which is these two worlds are separate. But the way of being, that stuckness, the disempowered way of being that shows up in business, currently that's showing up for you, that same energy is showing up with, you know, working out and everything else. And I hear like how you're so conscious of that, which is brilliant. So I want to acknowledge you for that, first of all, in that you didn't throw in the towel for the call this morning. You didn't throw in the towel for, you know, your thoughts around exercise. You continue to honor that, which is great. And somewhere there is a disempowering perception around business, which is trickling into other areas of your life. Now, when I say that, I really want to highlight, flag, put in bold, that doesn't mean that there, and I know when I used to hear this in the past, it was terrible because, or it occurred to me as terrible news because it felt like, therefore I can't have a breakdown in any area of my life because it'll impact every other area of my life. You know, there's like it was like my identity would go into, God damn it, I have to be perfect in every area. And I found that notion exhausting. But it's not that. Like, 3 people missed your calls this week and your business isn't where you want it to be 2 months in. That's what you're dealing with, right? And if we look at really like what structures in place, wanting to pivot, coming from a place of being proactive versus delving into the emotional instability that comes with it, that's where the mental well-being muscle gets built, which is bringing equanimity to your business as it is currently, as if, and it would be the same. Wait, let me say that again. It's bringing equanimity to your business, which means being right now in your business as you would be if you were also making $1 billion in the business. Does that make sense? So how do you start building that muscle? Through your meditation, through your mental practices, such that when hurdles like this do show up, it doesn't throw you off guard. And I'll give you an example. So part of with work, the organization I work with, where we do this annual investor gathering, and it's something, it's been my brainchild. I've been curating and running it and leading it for the last 5 years, where all the investors come on board who have been funding the work we do and the investments we make across developing markets, come together from Europe. It's a convening of about 100+ people. And we always have a corporate host that always hosts it. Every year it's the same corporate partner. They're brilliant. And on Thursday, just as we're in the midst of all the planning this year, the events for March 30th, like there's a big league, a full day agenda, keynote speakers, you know, the works. The corporate partner called us and said, because of coronavirus, their global security team has basically said they have to cancel all their global conferences. And it's not just this corporate, but all the corporates across Europe are doing that, with coronavirus positive cases happening in Spain, Italy, Norway, and a lot of our investors come from there. And we've been working on this since October. Like, speaker invitations have gone, and we have currently 96 guests RSVP'd, more to come in the month following up. And there was such an unusual stillness in me that I found fascinating to even just get present to. Whereas my colleague and I recently hired this new associate was just like, oh my God, what a nightmare. This is crazy. And I could see myself in him. Like, that historically would have been Ambika, because there was such an attachment to an outcome of this event. and yet I was present to this incredible calmness, which was so unexpected. Never found myself in that space before. But something is shifting internally, such that like something like some piece of news like this would have thrown me completely off guard in the past. And I just said to him, "Do you know how to dance, Will?" And he looked at me like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, this is what dancing in the storm looks like, right?" And there's always like, I just have this firm conviction now that I know everything will always work out for the best. Like if something is so warped that gets thrown your way, that's not in your control. And this is like a virus, it's a situation. But even if you bring it back to your business, every time we look at where FITBANKER is not working, it's just like taking the emotional connotations out of it and really getting to the practical aspect of it. But in order to get access to the practical access of it, equanimity of the mind within the mind is integral, which is how do I get to be my greater why, irrespective of how and what the current outcomes look like. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. Thank you. And actually, immediately, just by you saying that, I got that the what is so is 3 people missed their call and I haven't hit the results I wanted to hit after 2 months. And that's it. It's as simple as that. There's no more thinking or delving needed. It's just, okay. And then just looking at what to put in place, you know, what's missing that I can do to get the results. Just look at the specific actions versus any of the other drama. And that's really great. And and what you said, it will always work out. I'm starting to get more access to that in life, which is really great. It's like, actually, no matter what has ever happened, it's always worked out. So now when things start to get wobbly, I'm like, it's fine. It's always going to work out. And my connection to my spirituality has strengthened. So that's definitely given me that perspective there as well. So, and you just generating that example has got me present. Actually, there is no problem here at all.
Yeah.
So great. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Emma and Jesse, anything for you guys in terms of in life where you're stopped and confronted, or with participants?
Okay, so I'm not stopped with Raju and Rena. Not, you know, first of all, Rena's opted out of coaching calls, then wanted to do coaching calls, and then opted out again. And we've never had a call, and I've never got Raju to commit to a call. I feel that I'm playing full out with both of them. First of all, to keep Rena in communication. I don't get anything really sort of clear around like where is she at, you know, like I'm not sending like bombarding her with messages. I'm maybe checking in once or twice a week with her. I do get responses, but I don't always get responses to what I've asked. And with
So
Raju,
on that,
yeah,
I want to ask you a question and interrupt you there, sorry.
yeah.
How does Rena occur for you? There is currently a way Emma relates to Rena. What's there?
Right now, Rena occurs to me that she is committed to her health, but she can't find a way to actually reach that or to take action, or to, that she's got other things that are she's prioritizing over her health.
So, you know, on Facebook, so thanks for sharing that. So, you know, on Facebook, you have people you may know show up, and Rena showed up, and I think it's the same Rena, but I don't know this Rena. But there was a Rena Kotecha that showed up, and instantly my mind went into, oh, she's on our challenge and she's just doing it the way she wants to do it, right? She's doing it her way. And I had to catch that narrative so quickly, because the minute I start thinking that, if I bumped into her in a mall or in the street, right, I would be speaking not to the greatness who signed up to a 90-day program to really transform their health, but to this identity that is so familiar with doing things its own way, and then sabotages everything. And listening to her in that way will only keep her stuck in that way. And so it's like how whatever and what, hence I ask you, how does Rena occur for you right now? Because the more straight you can keep being with yourself around Rena and Raju, and I hear it in your messages with Raju specifically. You're sending the doodle links, continuously and he's not responding, there is certainly a way those two occur for you, right? But it's not that they are behaving that way because of Emma. It's not cause and effect,
No.
right? It is they're showing up in a certain way for Emma, as access for Emma to get present to how you relate to other human beings. There are many Reenas and Rajus in your life right now, which is what I want you to get present to and take away from today's call, right? Like there are many people whom you may be busting, it may occur to you busting gut to really try and get through to them, right? And something not shifting. But what's here where you are with the way communication currently is with both of them? And I know you started off by saying you're not stuck and stopped. However, like, is there something there that you're probably just brushing off or not even present to, but it's there because there's a recurrence of this energy showing up where people aren't responding, and it's not because of you, but it's a light that's giving you access to what's here in my ability to relate to another such that I can grow it and transform it.
So you mean like what's there for me as the way, in a way of that I'm being?
No, how does it leave you? How are you, simply put, like, how are you impacted with all the messages sending Raju repetitive? We're 7 weeks in, you've been sending him doodle links from week 1. He finally got to do the questionnaire, and that's it. And then, like,
It's actually,
Alina's like hot on and off, on and off.
It's actually really taken something for me to do that, because my default would be, you know what, if you're not interested in doing this challenge, if you're not willing to meet me halfway, then I'm done with you, right? And I'm really, that is the way that I would normally be, right? What else do you want me to do? You know, do you want blood? You know, it's like, it's a bit like that, right? So to for me to keep going and to getting responses, even Raju sitting on an aeroplane saying, I'm traveling today, I'm just literally taking off down the runway. I'm like, here's the tracker. You can do it while you're on the aeroplane. I mean, it takes something for me to do that, right? Because normally I'd just go, all right, he's traveling, that's it then, you know. But how it occurs to me right now is that it's hard work with those guys. It's like, oh man, just give me a break, you know, just give me something, give me anything. Tell me where you do, you know, tell me what you're doing. Are you walking every day, you know? And that's how it occurs to me right now, and that's what's in my space.
Right, that's brilliant. And thanks for sharing that, right? And also,
that's so great and authentic, Emma. That's just great. Thank you.
And I'm dreading it.
Thank you. And I'm in the middle of literally physically moving my house, and I'm like, come on, guys, you know, like, I'm moving a house. I'm literally moving a house, and you guys, I just want you to go on a 30-minute call, or just tell me how you're doing. You know, that's how it is for me.
Yeah. And taking a leaf out of Tom's conversation right now, if you can just get that Reena and Raju have gotten up for breakfast, eaten whatever, a banana, the sky is blue, and they are not taking action, bring that level of insignificance, right? Then consider that life, it's hard work with them. There's some way where you are right now that life occurs as hard, right? And that also shows up in your, and it's an exploration, but it also shows up in your updates where the breakdowns you're having. Now, you are a new mom, you do have an infant, right? And there's a lot you're taking on and causing in that space, right? And the seeming of your world right now is probably, take those two out of the picture, that it is hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so in that space, with others showing up as hard work, and I had this, I never realized it, but that's been the narrative of my existence. And with the 10-month program I just completed, the Wisdom Unlimited program, they really had us get present to how life seems for us, seemings. And we had to do so many collages, like literally 15-minute collages, like all the seemings that show up where life shows up in a breakdown. And I got, the minute I started doing a few, the trend of my life was that life occurs as hard. And hence I have to go do my PhD because I couldn't fathom getting a job after my bachelor's or master's. I felt too stupid for the industry. And hence, you know, like after the miscarriage, it took 3 years and to have a baby, and the first she was actually like all those realities were evidence that it is goddamn hard. It didn't occur to me to get a friggin' babysitter in year one, nor did I trust anybody, right? But it was all showing up in life as hard. Like I gotta be the martyr. I gotta be the friggin' one who burns not only the midnight oil, but every hour oil to demonstrate what a legend I am, and kill myself to demonstrate to myself what a legend I am.
You know, when you're saying that, it's like that's how life occurs for me right now.
Yeah, and I hear it in every update, right? Um,
It's especially around like I suppose when you're moving your home and you're moving your life, right, and it's all your possessions and it's all this, and it's right now it occurs hard. And then what's shown up this last week is that our old landlord is gone from writing us a recommendation, you know, of being amazing tenants, to now being extremely difficult to giving us our deposit back. And this isn't the first time this has happened with us. And it's like, oh man, it's always something around finances, and it just occurs for me, not again, you know. And we're now dealing with, like, he hasn't even seen his, we haven't even handed the keys back yet, and he's already saying, I'm not giving you this, and I'm not giving you that, and I'm not giving you this. And I'm like, oh, not again. Like and it's like, so like I'm just like, yeah, this last number of days, or this last week or 2 weeks, it's really occurred as, oh man, it's hard to move. It's not the first week, but this week has been extremely, it's just tiring, right?
yeah. Yeah.
And I really get that I come about life like I am the martyr, that I can do it all, that I can take it on. I met a mum in the street the other day, one of the mums that I know, and she offered to take Ethan and Louis, right? We have no family here, right? So it's like there's nobody helping us move. And Tom's friend is unable to do it because he broke his ribs. And I'm just like, she's like, I'm really true. Like, I want to look after your sons. Please let me do that. And she was in the street, like saying that in Spanish, it's verdad, which is like, it's true. I'm telling you, it's true. I want to look after them, right? And she must have said verdad to me like 5 or 6 times. Anyway, yesterday I was like, you know what, I need to contact her. She's free on the weekend. I need to, the boys she's got a boy the same age as Louis can play with them, and it's the first time that I've done that. Like normally I would just be trying to do this around these guys.
So Simran, as Emma's buddy, your accountability is kicking her ass out of martyrdom, which is where she's very, very comfortable, and really getting her to start creating support structures around her, right? That's precisely the world Raju's in. That's precisely the world Reena's in, right? It's like, I got to do life for myself. And so Simran, like, really kick, and Emma has made shifts in this. I see that progressively over the years, but really, like, let's have this challenge be one where you get Emma as an individual does not exist, right? Like, you are a collective, and what does you stepping into that space look like? All right, Simran?
And it's interesting. It's interesting why Lace and Anoli, they're showing up. They show up at, like, I have one call on a Monday and one call on a Friday, and they've shown up every single time, and they're rocking this challenge. And also they're giving me insights into how I can make things work for myself, right? Every time I speak to them, I'm so like hungry to speak to them, because they're just showing up, and they're really taking themselves on.
That's so great. And Pre, Claire, and Jag, speaking to you guys, I know this is very, very, very familiar territory for you guys in what Emma's just shared, because all of you are your solo superwoman identities in full mode.
It could be, this is me a year ago.
Exactly. And consider, with people now showing up in your life that you're accountable for, you're going to get participants tomorrow that there will be familiar rabbit holes your identity will take you down, right? And this is where you leverage your buddy structures This is where you leverage the support of the coaches. This is where you bring this stuff to these weekly calls to really get out of that space, because it serves nobody. Now, I'm conscious it's 8:40. Jag, what I'd love for you to share on the chat, on the coaches chat, please, is as an audio or as messages, is what are your fears and concerns, if any, going into this challenge? Simran and Claire and Pri, thank you so much for sharing your concerns so authentically. I loved receiving them. They were just so brilliant and so authentic. And everybody, let's cause a powerful week. We got 8 participants on the Feb Challenge, 9 on the Jan Challenge. Jan Challenge people, like, they've lost 9. The Lies, I think, has lost 9 kgs in 45 days, which is just remarkable. There's like Diksha, like there's so many of them. Thomas, James, like everyone causing such remarkable breakthroughs. Tim's Greater Why, Jesse, and his document is just so moving. And well done, Jesse, for just being persistent there with him and really causing breakthroughs. So lots to cause, guys. The Feb folks are asking questions, curious. Really take yourself on, not as in you know this education, but how can you grow in mastering it as you're standing for others? So how do you get to be a student as you get to coach, empower, and teach others? All right, folks, 2 minutes over. Just acknowledge that. Have a phenomenal Saturday. Thanks, everybody, for sharing, for bringing your whole selves. Love you guys, and here's to causing a miraculous week ahead.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ambika.
Guys.
Bye-bye.